So we've done the Dodge Challenger SRT8 versus the Mustang GT500. We've done the Mustang GT500 versus the Camaro SS. And we were the first to do the modern, naturally aspirated muscle cars, the Challenger, the Camaro, and the Mustang all together. But now we have the ultimate. 3 aftermarket prepared, hyper-powered, modern muscle cars. First up, the Hennessey Camaro HPE650. The world-famous Texas tuner is back, and this time has taken a standard Camaro SS and added a ton of performance upgrades, including a Magnuson supercharger, higher capacity fuel injectors, and a ported cylinder head with more aggressive valve springs and camshafts. All this is mated to Camaro's Tremec 6-speed manual transmission. Hennessey claims his HPE650 will make 650 horsepower, just as the name suggests, but we'll see. Next is the Speedfactory Challenger SRT8. Who are these guys? Southern boys from Morrow, Georgia, known by all Mopar fans as the guys with the 1,000 horsepower, 10-second SRT8. But not this time. To keep things fair, they've brought one of their Stage 5 SRT8s, which uses an air-to-water, charge-cooled Vortec V3 supercharger with upgraded fuel injectors and better breathing from a cold air intake and Corsa stainless steel exhaust. It also uses a new, high-torque, 5-speed automatic transmission. The Speedfactory guys may be the rookies in this mix, but they're hungry for an upset. Finally, we have racing legend Carroll Shelby's latest creation, the Shelby Ford GT500 SuperSnake. This bad boy features a Whipple supercharged 5.4-liter V8 and a ton of underhood modifications, including twin 75mm throttle bodies, an upgraded drive shaft, and Borla exhaust. To get the power to the ground, the SuperSnake uses a short-throw 6-speed manual transmission with 373 gears. Shelbys are legendary for their unmistakable look and performance. Does the new SuperSnake live up to the hype? Now, because these aren't normal, manufacturer-prepared vehicles, we've expanded the MotorTrend testing regimen. These cars make wild claims about the horsepower, so we're going to a dyno first. Then it's off to the test track for MotorTrend's patented instrumented testing, and then we'll go to a racetrack to see whether these performance modifications really do translate to the track. Now, these cars are the hairiest of the hairy. Each one of them makes well over 500 horsepower. So hold on tight because it should be a wild ride. We're at K&N Engineering in Riverside, California for the first stage of our muscle car shootout. Now, this is a non-traditional MotorTrend test facility. Why? Because the cars we're testing today aren't your normal manufacturer cars. These are aftermarket tuned vehicles that make some very wild claims about the horsepower. So we're here to use K&N's beautiful dyno facility. First up is the Hennessey HPE650. Just like that, at the rear wheels, the Hennessey HPE650 lays down an impressive 612 horsepower at 6,000 RPM and 593 pound-feet of torque at 3,960 RPM, far exceeding the promise of 650 horsepower at the crank. Next up is the SuperSnake and its fine supercharger whine. Incredibly, the Shelby makes more power than the Hennessey. At the rear wheels, 635 horsepower at 6,110 RPM. Torque is a bit less, 581 pound-feet at 4,750 RPM. Now, the Speedfactory guys had a lot of problems just making it to this comparison test and ended up bringing an SRT8 with a less powerful engine than the 700 horsepower, 7.2-liter Hemi they had originally planned. Turns out, it's a lot less powerful. At the rear wheels, Speedfactory's SRT8 makes only 454 horsepower at 6,030 RPM and 429 pound-feet at 5,220 RPM. That equals about 535 horsepower at the crankshaft, but still is far less than what the SuperSnake and HPE650 put down. Okay, so that's it. We got our numbers, we know what we're working with. Next stop, Auto Club Speedway in Fontana for MotorTrend's instrumented testing. First up is the big power SuperSnake. With 635 horsepower at the wheels, it's not surprising the Shelby has traction issues. Just listen to how it spins its tires through second gear. Still, it manages a 0 to 60 time of 4.1 seconds and nails the quarter mile in 12 seconds flat at 120.1 miles per hour. Next up is Speedfactory. Though it lacks the massive power of the Shelby, their SRT8 makes up for it with sticky Dunlop tires and a fast shifting 5-speed. It manages a surprising 0 to 60 time of 4.1 seconds as well, but is slower than the SuperSnake in the quarter mile, clocking a 12.5 second run at 115 miles per hour. With big power like the SuperSnake and an independent rear suspension like the Challenger, can Hennessey's Camaro outrun them both? Boy can it. Launch after launch, the HPE650 hit 60 miles per hour in under 4 seconds. The fastest 60 time is an amazing 3.7 seconds. It absolutely destroys the others in the quarter mile too, going just under 12 seconds for an 11.9 second run at 121.3 miles per hour. In braking, the SuperSnake's performance again demonstrates a lack of traction. Its 114-foot stopping distance from 60 miles per hour puts it in third place. The HPE650 finishes second, but essentially ties the SpeedfactorySRT8 with a distance of 106 feet. Big wheels and sticky tires help Speedfactory win the braking test in 105 feet. Too bad those tires don't help as much on the skid pad, where the Challenger ends up in third place with a lateral acceleration of 0.90 G and a figure 8 time of 25.9 seconds at 0.72 G. In second place is the SuperSnake, which lays down a 0.92 average G on the skid pad and a 25.7 second figure 8 at 0.72 G. And finishing at the top of the heap is the HPE650, which manages a 0.95 G on the skid pad and figure 8 time of 25.6 seconds at 0.75 G. Okay, so we know their power and we have our numbers, but we're now here at the streets of Willow Springs to see how all this translates to the track. It's very hot out here. We set up a special tight course to see whether these muscle cars can really put all of their power down. First up is the Shelby. So far, traction has been a serious problem for the SuperSnake in every part of our testing, so it's no surprise it's a major factor at the racetrack as well. With so much power underfoot, the SuperSnake threatens to rotate anytime the car is not pointed perfectly straight. This lack of grip makes it hard, not only at corner exits, but heading into turns as well. Doesn't matter if you have 750 horsepower or just 75 if you can't corner with confidence. You just can't carry any speed. Our best time in the SuperSnake? 94.5 seconds. Now you would think that the SpeedfactorySRT8, which gives up 181 horsepower to the SuperSnake and comes with an automatic transmission, would be embarrassingly slow out here. But it's not. Speedfactory guys know what they're doing. They've heavily braced this car and thoroughly reworked the suspension, which makes the car corner flat and even rotate a bit on demand. With a 93.7 second lap time, it's actually 0.8 of a second faster than the SuperSnake. The big winner out here is the HPE650, though you'd never know it from behind the wheel. The HPE650 feels unfinished and easy to upset due to tightly sprung suspension and limp steering. The controls leave a lot to be desired as well, both the awkward shaped shifter and funky steering wheel. And still, the HPE650 absolutely annihilates both the Speedfactory Challenger and Shelby SuperSnake. Its lap time of 91 seconds is 2.7 seconds faster than the SRT8 and 3.5 seconds faster than the Shelby. An eternity at the track. So, who was the big winner in this ultimate muscle car showdown? Well, in third place is the Speedfactory Challenger SRT8. Though we were promised a 700 horsepower street eater and ended up with something far less powerful, we were still impressed with Speedfactory's overall performance. Their car performed surprisingly well at the racetrack and okay during testing, even though it suffered from a number of embarrassing problems. In second place is a 750 horsepower Shelby GT500 SuperSnake. At the beginning, we thought this one was the one to beat, but put down a monster number on the dyno and easily won the Best Dressed award for its badass looks inside and out. It's just too bad that Shelby forgot to put some real tires on their SuperSnake, because traction proved to be this Serpent's Achilles heel in every part of our dynamic testing, from braking to drag racing to lap times. Which means the winner of this ultimate muscle car showdown is the Hennessey Camaro HPE650. No real surprise, as the Hennessey laid down the biggest torque numbers and second highest horsepower, but more importantly, was able to consistently translate all of that output into pure speed. It wasn't as easy to drive as Speedfactory's Challenger, nor did it look as badass as a SuperSnake, but when it comes to pure performance, bragging rights, and that absolutely ridiculous exhaust note, Hennessey's Camaro HPE650 backs it up like no other.